Valve has tweaked how the user review system works on Steam in an effort to combat review bombing, which has been an area of concern for some developers for quite some time. While it's not currently clear how effective Valve will be in identifying off-topic reviews, or whether it will help in solving the issue, this is good news for developers who may have been worried about their own titles. Review bombing has been a serious issue for devs, with Devotion being the latest game to be hit. Valve had previously made changes to its user review system back in 2017 to tackle spamming. As explained in a blog post, Steam will try to minimize the number of off-topic review bombs on the user score displayed at the top of a game store page by letting users opt in through their account preferences to see all reviews counted. How does Valve identify off-topic reviews? By using a tool they built. The goal is to identify any anomalous review activity on all games on Steam in as close to real time as possible, and then notify a team of people at Valve who will then go on to investigate. Once our team has identified that the anomalous activity is an off-topic review bomb, we will mark the time period it encompasses and notify the developer. The reviews within that time period will then be removed from the review score calculation. But Steam users can still choose to have off-topic review bombs included in all the review scores they see. It just needs to be enabled with checkbox under their Steam Star options. According to the post, the off-topic criteria refers to reviews where the focus of those reviews is on a topic that we consider unrelated to the likelihood that future purchasers will be happy if they buy the game. Complaints about DRM module changes are considered off-topic under this rule, with Valve defending its reasoning that the general Steam player does not care as much about them, so the review score is more accurate if it does not contain them. Video Game Deepcase's weekly newsletter from video game industry watcher Simon Carless, GDC Gamasutra Code Runner, rounding up the best long-read standout articles videos about games every weekend. This week's highlights include interviews on the much-vaunted Apex Legends, info on Night Thriller Observation, and the loneliness of Sunless Skies, as well as Ration Doll, Art Sqool, and a plethora of other neat things. Particularly happy with the amount of other media adjacent to video games covered this time around: streaming TV shows, books, performance theater, and a dreaming about video games. That last one happens quite a lot in your household, and specifically your head, I bet. Until next time, Simon, curator. Taking back roguelikes with Raigan Burns, the Spelunky Showlike Libsyn podcast. Raigan Burns of Metanet Software, stops by for a spirited debate on the term roguelike, as we discuss the tenets of the genre, why, and if they are important, and how Spelunky fits into it all. The world thinks we are making Titanfall 3 and we are not. This is what we are making. Come to Eurogamer article. Although many of the game's details have been splashed across the internet, there's still plenty here to discuss, including how the game actually plays, monetization, and what this means for the Titanfall franchise. At a closed doors event last week, I was able to trial Apex Legends for 6 hours, and ask Respawn a number of questions about his decision to go full battle royale. Simon does note other coverage all over the place, including at The Guardian. 120 notable platformers of 2018. PixelProspector YouTube video. I have just created a compilation video, which shows 120 top platformers that were released in 2018. It features a wide variety of platformer subgenres. Thus you will see traditional platformers, hardcore platformers, platform shooters, platform fighters, puzzle platformers, action-adventure platformers, and more. Simon, just note, man, there's a lot of video games out there. PC building simulator turns the complex hobby into goofy fun. Shannon Liao Verge article. There are few things more meaty than a PC game, where you build your own PC. PC building simulator gives you the experience of being a one-person PC building workshop, juggling movie customers with various demands. Your tasks could be as simple as blowing dust out of an older computer and scanning for viruses. As you level up, it could be to build an entire PC from scratch. Protest game. Jaroslav Svelch mighty press blog article book excerpt. 30 years ago, people gathered on Prague's largest Scleroto protest the oppressive regime of communist Czechoslovakia. One of the earliest political computer games recreated the events, with Indiana Jones as the main character. In the final chapter of Gaming the Iron Curtain, Jaroslav Svelch tells the story of this game and explains its background. Simon, just note, super interesting looking book. There are not enough on local video game scenes written in English. High thriller observation is the spiritual successor to Alien Isolation and the Cali PC Gamer article. Observation is an upcoming sci-fi thriller from No Code, the team behind horror anthology Stories Untold. In it you play as Sam, an orbital space station's advanced artificial intelligence that has suddenly become self-aware. Something has gone horribly wrong on the station, leaving it drifting near Saturn, and it's up to you to help survivor drive Emma Fisher escape to safety. Making games better for players with cognitive disabilities. Game Maker, best tool get you to video. Video games are for everyone, but those with disabilities can be left out if developers do not consider their needs. In this series of videos, I will be sharing guidelines on the best practices for making games more accessible to a wide range of disabilities. This time, I am looking at design choices and menu options that will affect those who have cognitive disabilities. Sunless Skies, wonderful horrible lances make a murderous void feel like home. Alec Meer on Paper Shotgun article. The word lonely comes up often when discussing Sunless Skies, which seems like nothing to say about a game in which you haul yourself around the stars in the company of up to 2 dozen crew members. But that's the tone of Fail Better's twisted sci-fi Victoriano roguelike, feeling desperately alone and vulnerable, in a desperately large and lethal place. In total control, Ernie Smith, Teddy article. Benj Edwards, a tech journalist and historian, who has ruled his vintage computing and gaming website for nearly 15 years, has recently found himself in the joystick business, building out an array of joysticks for platforms common and obscure mostly by hand. He notes THATBX Foundry comes at a time when retro gaming is full of people looking for an upgrade. How a lifelong diet of games influenced the 7 deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, Robert Placenzi Eurogamer article. But to describe the 7 deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle as a mere murder mystery would be a disservice. For there is something much more inventive going on. An old formula is spun on its head by an inspired, game-changing twist. It's just one after Stuart Turton, a Costa book award for first novel. I have never read anything like it. I have, however, played games like it. The flops are piling up for video game titans. Christopher Paul Mary Bloomberg article. In recent years, the video game industry looked like it had found the antidote to the boom-bust cycles. that had long plagued the business. The biggest names in games have stumbled this year as marquee titles flopped and online spending came up short. Simon, just note, I think flop is a bit much, but looks like valuations got overheated. And this follow-up about upcoming Activision lack of showcases, that a bit more. Sadly, what it means when we dream about video games. Cecilia D'Anastasio article. For people who spend a lot of time plugging inputs into video games, the game does not end when their head hits the pillow. The more gamers I asked, the more I learned how widespread video game dreams are. Speaking to psychologists and dream analysts, I found that this widespread phenomenon says a lot about gamers' unconscious minds and neural wiring. SimCity 30 years later, a retrospective, LTLU tour video,